Can you imagine that in 2026 America, the only superpower, will lose to a country it has sanctioned for 40 years? This is not me saying it, but Professor Sane, whose 2 predictions about Donald Trump have already come true. Now, the third one is awaited. This war can change things forever. This is not an ordinary conspiracy, but a frightening prediction of game theory, expert Professor Sane, rapidly turning into reality. If this turns out to be true, in the next 6 months, your bank account money could become waste paper, and the world's system change forever. In this video, we will reveal that secret script which the mainstream media is hiding from you. We will see how Iran's cheap drones are turning America's trillion-dollar pride into dust. Is Donald Trump pushing the world toward destruction for war powers or power extension, leading to secret societies and end times agenda? In the next few minutes, you will see a side of truth the world may not be aware of. Welcome to the videos. Professor Sane's first prediction, Donald Trump would win the election again, which proved true. Second prediction, as Trump came to power, a terrible war would start between America and Iran, and that happened. But his third prediction, which shocked everyone, was that America would lose badly in this war. And this is not just a prediction. There are many logical arguments behind it. In today's video, we will do a complete post-mortem of this third and most dangerous prediction and understand how a military superpower like America could lose to Iran. Professor Sane, who is a major expert in game theory and geopolitical events, has made it clear in his new interview that America cannot win this war under any circumstances. Let's come directly to the point and understand where Iran stands at this moment. If we look at the professor's deep analysis, it becomes clear that Iran has not been preparing for this war for just 1 year, but for the last 20 years. In the regime, it is seen as a final war, in which they consider America the great Satan. Iran gained a lot of experience from the war that happened in June last year. They carefully studied the strength of America and Israel, their defense systems and methods of attack. They had a full 8 months to prepare for this new attack, buying time by talking with America. Instead of fighting directly, Iran is making the best use of its proxies. These proxies include the Houthis of Yemen, Hezbollah of Lebanon, Hamas of Palestine, and Shia militants of Iraq and Syria. All of them together have well understood the mentality of America and their way of fighting. Their strategy is not only to kill American soldiers, but to destroy the American empire and the global economy. Instead of clashing directly, they target countries which are the real strength of America's economy: Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, and Bahrain. Iran's strategy is dangerous and well-planned. They target military bases, critical energy infrastructure, and water systems. In these Middle East countries, there is no natural resource of drinking water. They process salty seawater through desalination plants and use it. More than 60% of their water comes from these desalination plants. Professor Sane explained with a frightening example that a small Iranian drone, whose price is hardly $100, if it falls on a main water desalination plant in Riyadh and destroys it, then, in that city of 10 million population, within just 2 weeks the drinking water will finish. Just imagine, in 2 weeks an entire city will start dying of thirst. Apart from this, Iran has practically started blocking important sea routes like the Strait of Hormuz, from where 90% of the food and grains of these Arab countries come. There are people who think that because of this tension, a little inflation will come, or the global economy will be disturbed. But in reality, Iran at this time is threatening to wipe out the existence of countries like Saudi Arabia and the UAE. And here it is important to know that these Arab countries are like a backbone for the American economy. The real reason for this is the petrodollar system. These Arab countries sell their oil to the world in dollars, because of which the demand for the dollar always remains high. Then these same countries reinvest these dollars back into the American stock market and real estate. Nowadays, the entire American economy and stock market are dependent on artificial intelligence. In these AI data centers, the biggest heavy investment is from these Gulf states and Arab countries. Because of this war, if these Gulf states are not able to sell their oil, then obviously their economies will be destroyed, and then they will stop making further investments in America's AI system. The day these Arab investments stop, this false AI bubble of America will burst, and the entire American economy will fall to the ground, which Professor Sane has called a financial Ponzi scheme. Now the question arises that why the world's most advanced and powerful American military is not able to counter these cheap drones. The real reason is that the entire structure and mindset of the American military is built from the era of World War II and the Cold War. During the Cold War, the real competition was muscle flexing, who has the most expensive and complex technology, who reaches the moon first, and who has the biggest missiles. America's entire air defense system is based on such expensive and complex technologies, which cost billions of dollars to build and operate. In comparison, the war of the 21st century has completely changed. This is the era of asymmetric warfare, where a very cheap weapon can destroy a very expensive system. Recently, a video coming from Israel has surprised defense experts around the world, where an ordinary Iranian ballistic missile was coming toward the ground. And to stop it, America and Israel fired 11 different interceptor missiles. But still, they were not able to stop it. On the other hand, Iranian Shait drones are completely manufactured in Iran and Russia. On the supply line, they do not have to depend on any other country. The Shait 136 drone, also called Gerentu, because of its simplicity and low cost, has become a game changer in modern warfare. These drones have a two-stroke piston engine, which can cover a distance of 2,000 kilometers. At a speed of 185 kilometers per hour, using only 100 liters of fuel. Operating it is also not a difficult task. Just enter the GPS coordinates and it is sent off. And because these fly very low, there are two advantages. First, wherever they pass, they spread fear. And second, because of low flying, it becomes very difficult to intercept them. Only 8 feet wide, this drone can carry up to 40 kilograms of explosives. Stopping it with an expensive interceptor is like using a train to stop a car. The US Defense Minister and Joint Chiefs of Staff told CNN that Iranian drones are creating a bigger problem than expected, and stopping them is more difficult than ballistic missiles. This is a big financial disaster. Iran's cheap drone costs only a few $1,000s, while the interceptor missile that America fires to shoot it down costs several $1 million. When you fire a $1 million missile to destroy a $50,000 drone, you cannot afford this war for a long time. Now, America's stock of these expensive missiles is decreasing rapidly, and they are even having to use their Asia military reserves, which they had saved because of the fear of China. This is actually a sign of the breaking of America's pride, which for the last 20 years had maintained its dominance over the whole world. If this continues like this, then not only the petrodollar, but the world will rapidly move towards a multipolar world, where America's influence will end. Apart from all this, until now, America and Israel are attacking only from the air. But history is witness that till today, no country in the world has been able to change another country's government. Only through airstrikes. For regime change, you must deploy ground troops in any case, according to the statements of America's top officials and the Secretary of War. America currently has no intention of sending ground troops to Iran. In the coming months, A lot of pressure will come on America from Arab countries and Israel to send ground troops and eliminate the Iran threat forever. Because if something happens to these countries, then America's petrodollar will also sink. So now the question arises, why did American President Donald Trump jump into such a war, about which top military command had already warned? According to the professor, behind this foolish decision, there are three major reasons that forced Trump. The first reason is overconfidence. Recently, Trump carried out a small, successful operation in Venezuela. And because of that, he became overconfident about the capability of the American military. Just like Adolf Hitler attacked the Soviet Union after easily conquering Europe, which eventually became the reason for the destruction of his army. The second reason is political benefit. Although this war does not give any major benefit to America, Trump personally is getting both political and financial advantages. Saudi Arabia and Israel are indirectly lobbying for this war. Remember that Saudi Arabia invested billions of dollars in the private equity fund of Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner. On the other hand, major financial backers of Israel, like Miriam Adelson, are funding Trump's political career. Of course, according to the US Constitution, a president cannot come for a third term. But Miriam has openly said that if Trump runs for president for the third time, she will give him $250 million. It is also possible that under the cover of war, Donald Trump, as a wartime president, may extend his tenure. In the third reason, the professor said that if you read the world's old leaks and Epstein files, you will understand that the system of this world is actually run by some secret societies. Among them, the most famous group is the Illuminati, which is divided into three parts. On one side are the Jesuits, who controlled the Vatican. On the other side are the Sabbatean Frankists, who have influence over the power structure of modern Israel. And on the third side are the Freemasons, who control America's entire national security and military operations. These secret and powerful groups strongly believe that in the end times, meaning the last era, a major war will occur in the Middle East. Israel's inclusion in this is necessary, so that their heaven on earth remains established on the ground. This is a pre-written spiritual script that they follow under all circumstances, whether there is logic in this action or not. And even if it causes the entire world's economy to collapse, they only care about their end times agenda. This was Professor Sign's third prediction, which is now on the path to coming true after the first two. The essence of all this is that America is fighting a war which, even if it wins by luck, will still be considered a huge loss for the country. Just like what happened in Iraq, Libya, Syria, and Afghanistan, attacking Iran would also be like cutting one's own legs with an axe. What are your thoughts on this? Be sure to share them in the comment section. I hope you like and share this video as much as possible. See you in the next amazing video.